guys, my name is Lilly and today I want to report from Austria again. This time I would like to start with this letter here. And this is a letter that I've gotten by my health insurance association. This is a governmental institute where I have my mandatory healthcare and social welfare account. And they've been writing me this letter. And here they are saying, hey, we have a 100 euro bonus for you, but we could not transfer this money to your bank account because we don't have your bank details yet. And I was like, how is this possible? Because I've been a company for more than 10 years. How come they don't have my bank account if I'm paying them money quarterly with my social welfare taxes? Also, sometimes when there's too much money in my social welfare account, they are paying the money back to my bank account. So they definitely have my bank account, right? And then they go on and say, to collect this money, you just have to insert your bank account information into the SVS Go app or onto the website of this institute. So I actually tried to log into the website and give them my bank account details. But then you will get an information that you will have to log on with your digital identity app. And that's something I don't have yet, right? So down here they are saying, you don't have an ID Austria yet? Then go to this governmental website and get your ID Austria. So yeah, the ID Austria is something that they are trying to lure us in right now. And also now, they are starting to force us to use the digital identity. For example, here we got a case where a teacher, you know, when a teacher is giving grade to students, they have to put it into the Socrates system. And formerly in the past, it was enough to have a password to log into the Socrates website and give grades to students. But now they require to have a digital identity for the teachers. Otherwise, they cannot put in the grades for the students. But now a teacher said she doesn't want to use the digital identity because she doesn't trust the system because of various data protection concerns. And now the principal of this school is threatening the teacher with dismissal. That comes in a time where many teachers have a burnout, where we don't have enough of teachers, where a lot of teachers are quitting anyways. And that's, of course, really, really bad for the school system. Next, there was a really interesting documentary about the digital ID and how people are forced to use it on Servus TV, which is an Austrian TV station. And here they are saying in this video that the teacher is not the only case, but also now farmers, if they want to apply for subventions, they have to use the digital ID Austria. And you know, I've been an accountant for many years, and sometimes I was seeing the accountancy of farmers, and farmers really have the worst liquidity and they have the worst bank accounts, right? So before the harvest, I was seeing numbers like minus 200, 300, 500,000 euros on their bank accounts. And then comes the harvest, and then they have like, I don't know, 20 grand on the bank account, and then there will be subventions, and actually it's those subventions which make a life as a farmer possible here in Europe. Because otherwise, with all of the cheap foods that are coming from abroad, you would not be able to compete as a farmer in Austria. So farmers are really relying on subventions, and now you have to have the digital ID Austria, otherwise you will not get subventions. But also they're saying there's still another way how you can get it. You have to inquire at the Austrian Chamber of Agriculture, and they can also get the subventions for you, but it will take much longer. It will be more complicated. So now a lot of farmers are getting the digital identity Austria because of convenience. And also the next problem is elderly people often don't have a smartphone, and they don't even know how to use a smartphone, right? So they still have cell phones. So how should they download this digital identity app? And the next thing is they want to make the digital identity mandatory to log into the Austrian financial institution. So I, as a company, I frequently have to check my finances and taxes with the government at this website. But then you will have to log in with your digital identity. So basically, they are slowly forcing the population to use the app. But first they tried with a €100 bonus. So yeah, why are they pushing the digital identity so fast right now? Well, the European Union has announced that they want to introduce the digital euro with fall 2025. So for the digital euro, the citizens need a digital identity, and this is why they want to quickly force people to download this app. Of course, with the digital money, there come a lot of risk. So the plan is that you have your money not with your bank account anymore, with your local bank, but instead you will have your money directly at the European Central Bank. And this digital euro is programmable. So they can say with your digital money, you cannot purchase, I don't know, more than 5 kilograms of meat in a month. Or they can say with this digital money, you can only purchase like 5 bottles of wine in a month, right? They can say, hey, this food has so much CO2 produced. So in an entire month, you can only purchase, I don't know how many kilos of CO2. And if you exceed that, you cannot purchase more meat, for example. Also, they can say, oh, you have traveled too much this year. So instead of going on holiday and flying 2 or 3 times a year, you can only fly like every second year. So with this digital money and the ability to control what you can purchase with it, this unfortunately enables a government overreach. That's what's going on right now with the digital ID. And I have to say, I'm really envious about the American people right now, because it seems as if, at least for a couple of years, you will have a break from this World Economic Forum plans. But now here in Europe, we are in a really dire situation. And I'm getting a lot of comments of people asking me why I'm not emigrating to the USA. Actually that's something I wanted for a long time, but it's not so easy to migrate to the US legally, so it costs you a whole lot of money. I think 100K just to pay the fees, the legal fees for the lawyer and so on. So it's not so easy to migrate. And also I'm not the only one who is making decisions in my family. And right now we have decided to stay here because it's convenient, Migrating is not, it's very, how should I say, I can do it, but my 4-year-old son, it would be bad for him to rip him out of his life right now. And he has his friends here, he loves his kindergarten, he loves our house. So I just don't want to do this to him when he's so young. And also the schools here are still very good. So I'm hoping that he can still go to school here, maybe study here in Austria. And maybe in 20 years we are going to leave, but who knows, who knows. So that's the reasons why I haven't left Europe yet. But if I was single, alone, with no responsibilities, I would be gone already. Okay, so that was the push for the digital identity. Now let's take a look at some other news. Milestone. Government agrees on messenger surveillance. So now they want to surveil WhatsApp and have easier access to our WhatsApp messages. Here they're saying that the country is driving against the war. And that's because of this chart here. So back in 1950, 6 working adults would finance 1 pensioner. And now with 2025, 3 working people have to pay for the pension for 1 pensioner. And in 2040, it will be even worse. 2 people will have to pay the pension for 1 pensioner. So because of this, a lot of politicians and industrials, they are demanding that we Austrians, we should not go earlier into pension anymore. And they are saying that we should go in pension with 70, up to 70 years. This is how long Austrians should work. The government has already introduced initial tightening measures for pensions. The federal government has set itself the goal to encourage Austrians to work longer. Now, while they want us to work until 70, the healthcare system is going down the drain. So we have a really expensive healthcare system in Austria. You have to pay a lot of health insurance and social welfare taxes. And usually, if you pay this much of money, you would get a really good surgeon in a good time for free. But now that's not the case anymore. So now they let the patients wait for such a long time that patients with pain, they say, I cannot endure the pain anymore. And then the patients maybe sell their car or take up a credit to pay for surgery. So that's happening so much now. I know many people who have done it already, my neighbors, for example. But also you read this in the newspaper constantly. 5, 6, 7,000 euros for a surgery, and then you get it within a couple of weeks. Otherwise, you will have to wait up to 1 year, 1.5 years until you get your surgery. Here, another news of a woman. Her surgery has gotten postponed 5 times already. While we don't have any money for the healthcare system and for our pensioners, we still have money for the treatment of prisoners, right? So here they're saying that the treatment costs for prisoners are exploding. It's 165 million euros a year. And the prisoners get quite expensive medical care in the prison. And they basically get their teeth done for free. So if I, as a working citizen, have to get my teeth, like one tooth now, I have been at the dentist, would cost me 850 euros. But if you go into prison, you get it for free. Also, the Ministry of Justice spends about 4.3 million euros on psychologists and psychotherapists for prisoners. Wow. That hammer, 400 billion mark exceeded. Budget gap grows in Austria. So while we Austrians are paying more and more taxes, the debt is still growing. So what are our politicians doing with the money? It's a really good question. Oh yeah, there was one really interesting article. So there was this article being published that the European Union is sponsoring a whole lot of NGOs around Europe. And now they have published a list which NGOs in Austria were sponsored. And some of those EU funds have been dispersed to some questionable organizations in Austria. So here's a small list of NGOs that got taxpayers' money from the European Union. The first one was A Journey Between Tennis Clubs. Another NGO is called Central Asian Lesbians. Oh my god, I did not know that we have such an organization in Austria. Migrant associations, comparative studies, and much more. Altogether, the European Union spent 7.4 billion on NGOs. So this is where our money is going. And of course, every expense that the government is going to make, it's driving the inflation. So here they're saying with the 1st July, everything will become more expensive in Austria again. The passport will now cost 112 euros instead of 75. The driver's license costs 90 euros instead of 60. A marriage fee will cost now 74 euros instead of 50. Gun license 110 instead of 75. Gun permit 175 instead of 118. The e-card for the social healthcare system will be twice as expensive. Cigarettes will rise in price, and also medical transport will sometimes be not for free anymore. Yeah, at the same time, all of the households in Austria will now be forced to pay a fee for the Austrian governmental television station. So there's a TV station, and there are 3 channels with this TV station, which is called ORF 1, 2 and 3. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this television, if you have a television, if you have a radio, it doesn't matter. You still have to pay a fee, a special tax for the Austrian governmental television station. And doesn't matter if you watch it or not. after the pandemic, a lot of people canceled this fee. So now they make it mandatory. And now everybody has to pay again. But not everybody has to pay the ORF fee. Some persons are exempt. For example, persons who receive certain social benefits, such as unemployment benefit, emergency assistance, student or student allowance, apprenticeships allowance, care allowance, pension minimum income, or child care allowance. That's news from Socialist Austria. I really want to thank you for watching, and if you want to support my channel, I would highly appreciate it. And that's because YouTube is actually shadow banning my videos, and they basically have halved my monetization. So if you want to support my channel, just go down in the description, click on any of my Amazon links, and then purchase any of the products you would like. Just click on my link 24 hours before you make the purchase. And this will support my channel with a small commission fee, and it doesn't come with any higher cost to you. Alright, so this is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned till next time.